Today in the battle arena, well, we've got two of the most powerful villains in comics going head to head. It's Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, going up against Larfleeze, leader of the Orange Lanterns. So who's coming out on top here? Well, let's find out. Galactus is the famed Devourer of Worlds in the Marvel Universe, with his powers being nearly omnipotent. He uses energy from the core planets and universal sources to sustain himself, and has appointed a number of entities as his heralds, imbuing them with the power cosmic. Like his heralds, Galactus gains his virtually limitless power from the power cosmic. For starters, he's able to manipulate creation, matter, energy, and universal sources. Galactus can erect nearly impenetrable force fields, project devastating energy blasts capable of blowing up planets and splitting them apart, and shoot lasers or give off radiation. He can open wormholes or portals to other dimensions or times. It can transport beings across the universe or even across time. Galactus can read minds across the universe, levitate and move matter via telekinesis, and even reconstruct matter or transmute it. He can turn matter into energy, or vice versa, energy into matter. Can manipulate elements on the periodic table, manipulate souls and erase memories, repair or heal living tissue, and even resurrect the dead. Now, what's interesting is that the true form of Galactus is really unknown. Instead, he's perceived as this species, whoever is looking at them. So, to a human, he appears human, but to an alien, he would appear as an alien. Now, even with all of this, Galactus is not entirely omnipotent. He possesses an insatiable hunger for the energy from planets. And this hunger is the greatest motivating force in his life. This energy not only powers Galactus, but also nourishes him. This means that Galactus can starve, and in fact die, if he doesn't consume enough planets. If this were to happen, it's stated he would explode and take 100 light-year section of the galaxy with him. So that's what we got in one corner. Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds. But entering the ring in the other corner, well, it's Larfleeze, the leader of the Orange Lanterns. Larfleeze was the first being to tap into the orange light of avarice and the keeper of the Orange Lantern core. The orange light has the ability to create orange light replicas or constructs based upon the people that it kills. Since Larfleeze is too greedy to share his rings, he instead uses the ring's ability to create an entire army of Orange Lantern constructs which to face his foes. And his connection to the power battery allows him to maintain the constructs indefinitely, as long as he devotes attention to doing so. He's been able to one-shot Atrocitus, the leader of the Red Lantern Corps, and is powerful enough to defeat, kill, or corrupt Green Lanterns, Controllers, and even Brainiac, and add them to his Orange Lantern Corps. Larfleeze has defeated Hal Jordan, who's arguably the strongest member of the Green Lantern Corps, and overwhelm Hal even when he had a green and blue lantern ring, and defeat Kyle Rayner, who was channeling the powers of the emotional spectrum. Larfleeze is even powerful enough to defeat the Guardians of the Universe, and all of the gods in the House of Twelfth Dwan. His lantern constructs are powerful enough to restrain multiple Green Lanterns, and even hold back the Guardians. In short, Larfleeze is one of the most powerful villains in the DC Universe, and is arguably the greatest Green Lantern Corps villain, even being able to amp his power up to 100,000%. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now today we got two of the most powerful villains in Marvel and DC going head to head. Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, is going up against Larfleeze, the leader of the Orange Lantern Corps. So who's coming out on top here? Well, let's find out. And starting out, let's talk about good old Larfleeze. Well, here's one of the first things to know about Larfleeze. He's not coming into this fight alone. He's got an entire Lantern Corps of powerful constructs at his beck and call. Just one or two of these constructs are strong enough to restrain high-tier lanterns like Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, who was channeling the entire emotional spectrum, or even a guardian of the universe. They battled against and quickly overwhelmed the new Guardians, battled against and took down the Blue Lantern Corps, even fought against the Green Lantern Corps and the Guardians of the Universe. And Larfleeze definitely isn't above summoning an army and just dogpiling on his opponent. In fact, that's more often than not going to be one of his go-to strategies in a fight. Then Larfleeze, by himself, is strong enough to kill Brainiac, knock out Atrocitus, overwhelm Hal Jordan, who had both green and blue lantern rings, and Larfleeze is weak to blue lanterns. He's matched up against Kyle Rayner with the whole emotional spectrum, and even smashed Krona, who was a guardian of the universe and was amped with the emotional spectrum too. Larfleeze has even overwhelmed the whole Guardians of the Universe and even defeated gods before. He's able to absorb the energy of a Guardian. His energy constructs are actually able to eat up and devour Green Lantern energy constructs. And Larfleeze even overpowered a knockoff Odin, someone who was from a race of cosmically powerful beings, was actually the most powerful member of that race. And those are the same guys who managed to bust up a universe together. Finally, Larfleeze is a living, breathing power battery. Basically, due to being around his power battery for so long, he doesn't need to recharge his ring. He actually doesn't even need his lantern. And Larfleeze got to the point where he's completely composed of energy. Every biological cell of his body is made up of this energy, meaning that he is exponentially stronger than almost any other lantern out there, regardless of what part of the emotional spectrum they came from. He's beat up gods, beat up guardians. He's powerful enough to make the Guardians afraid to fight him, and even so powerful that he's kept Guardians as slaves before. That's some crazy power right there. Some crazy power. But then there's Galactus. Man, oh man, Galactus. When Stan Lee first introduced the character in Fantastic Four in The Coming of Galactus, he intended the Galactus to be God. I mean, that was the whole point of the story. What would happen if the Fantastic Four encountered God? So as someone originally intended it to be God, just what can he do? What's he capable of here? Well, that really depends upon how much energy Galactus has, how full he is. While starving, he's still powerful enough to eat and destroy planets, is able to battle against Ego the Living Planet, create a blast that covered 3 star systems, briefly match Phoenix in power and stalemate against the In-Betweener. And then even though he did lose to Hunger, an abstract entity who devours planets and realities, similar to Galactus, he still survived the encounter. Basically, even while severely weakened, on the verge of dropping dead, Galactus is still one of the most powerful beings in the universe. While Galactus has never technically been fully fed, his hunger is insatiable. At his absolute best, well, he's accidentally destroyed black holes or turned off stars, and he can just pull himself back together he was ever destroyed. He's able to strike with the fires of 1,000 suns, one-shot celestials. He's even fought against beings like Tyrant, Mephisto, and Scryer and the other. In fact, he's beat Mephisto while they were in Mephisto's realm. His fight with Tyrant destroyed whole galaxies, and it was said that his fight against Scryer was generating enough power and energy that they could have destroyed the universe. He's actually survived the destruction of his previous universe. While talking to Franklin Richards, he said that they were going to be one of the few that would live to see the ending and destruction of this universe and the birth and creation of the next one. Galactus also has a plethora of powers, basically every power in the book. And a lot of these powers are things that Larfleeze doesn't have. He's grown to the size of a star, telepathically battled against Thanos and the All-Father Odin. He sent Sphinx back in time and forced him to relive his life over and over and over again for all of eternity. And he's got impressive matter manipulation powers, easily manipulating and assimilating a guy who had just beaten Doctor Strange one shot. And he's manipulated and transformed his own herald before. Long story short, Galactus is insanely powerful. So, both of these guys are impressively powerful. Galactus, one of the strongest characters in Marvel. Larfleeze is one of the strongest characters in DC. But who is stronger? Well, I think it's gotta be Galactus. Now, don't get me wrong, Larfleeze is someone who you could argue is more powerful than Darkseid or Thanos. I don't want to take anything away from the guy. But while he's battled against unknown gods or guardians of the universe, Galactus battled against Odin, Celestials, Mephisto, the In-Betweener, the Phoenix, Galaxy, and Universe Busters. Galactus is just on a whole other level than almost anyone else out there. Anyone in either Marvel or DC, and that includes Larfleeze. He's one of the most powerful characters in comics, point blank. He's more powerful than Larfleeze, and he's beating Larfleeze in a fight. Yeah, Galactus is coming out on top here. Galactus wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure that like button, subscribe button, and turn notifications to join the DanCo army. And I will see y'all next time.